G'day Tiger fans and welcome to the 140th episode. Can you believe that? 140 episodes of the best podcast in history, Talking Tigers. Now the boys have won 5 of the last 6 games and they're starting to hit the form that our man Greeners used to display down at Josie's in Hampton in his heyday. He loved that place, did Greeners. This week's game against Port is crucial. It's almost an elimination final, I reckon. On this week's show, we're going to talk about Dustin Martin's form. He is absolutely on fire. Dusty, we're loving him. We're going to talk a bit of Euro 2016, some huge upsets there. And all of your regular segments will return. JB and Greeners, how are you, boys?
Yeah, good, Richo.
Yeah, very good, thanks, Matty. Yeah.
And that song tone was
of course, because it's the great Dusty Springfield. It's a tribute to our Dusty Martin.
Yes,
who's incredible. And wishing and hoping, one of her many hits this year.
What are you wishing and hoping for?
Wishing and hoping that he maintains his form and becomes the first Tiger to win a Brownlow since Stewie back in 1971.
You're pretty strong on this, aren't you?
I'm massive on this.
I've been Saturday night.
Yeah, I reckon he's got minimum 15 votes, and it could be as many as 17. He got 21 last year. Yep. If he maintains his form for the last, 9 games, massive chance.
Who are the threats?
Well, Dangerfield. I think Danger would be in front at this stage. Rory Sloane's playing well.
Yeah, probably those. I reckon probably the 3 of them.
But I reckon Selwood. It's a lot of those games where Danger was having 30, 35. Selwood's having 30 as well. Yeah. He might steal a couple of threes off Danger.
Yeah. And mind you, of course, it could be like a 4-way tie. You still win the Brownlow, don't you, on a 4-way tie? So
he stands out, Dustin, doesn't he?
The umpires notice
him. He had 29 kicks on the weekend. He kicks the ball. He kicks it well. So, I think you could be right. Jeez, I'd love that.
Massive chance.
Be a good speech too, I reckon, Dusty.
Oh, be a beauty.
How was Bruce going?
Bruce might struggle a bit with that.
Yeah. And he's 4th in the Coaches Association.
He's rocketed to 4th spot. Yeah. He's 10 behind Dangerfield. Yeah. Dangerfield 66 and Dusty on 56. So I reckon he's got the perfect 10 about 3 or 4 times this year he has. So.
I reckon he's got a real belief in himself now.
Yeah, there's no
I reckon
doubt.
The last 5 or 6 weeks, I can just see him starting to think, gee, I am one of the best players in the competition now.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, obviously, he's just his ability to run games right out too. So he can win the ball, obviously, on the outside, wins it inside, uses it so well. Probably the only thing he's not doing this year is kicking goals, but he's just spending so much time, further up the ground and generating
Koch would be happy too, wouldn't he? The run-with player going to someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just it has taken a bit of pressure off Koch, no doubt about that.
Did Townsend get anything for that, Robinson?
No, they looked at it, but no other alternative, they reckon.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fair result.
Yeah. He's hard as a cat's head, though, isn't he, Townsend?
Yeah,
I mean, so is Mitch Robinson.
He is. So they both are. Yeah,
I admire Mitch Robinson. He got up. He didn't want to go off.
He didn't.
Hey, what about overnight? Now, I love this. I love an underdog story. What about Iceland have knocked England out of Euro 2016?
England out of Europe.
Yeah, they're out, aren't they?
They're well and truly out. It's been a big week for them getting out of Europe, isn't it?
Just out of Europe altogether. Roy Hodgson, straight after the game.
What did he do?
See ya.
That's it?
Oh, he knew he couldn't go back to England.
Well,
what's he going to do?
Something I saw on the internet today that apparently he's getting paid $4.6 million a year as England manager. Yeah. And then one of Iceland's co-managers is a part-time dentist. The difference between the two sides.
I was down in Tassie on Sunday.
That's about as big as, isn't it?
That's what it's like, though. It's 350,000 people in Iceland, same as Tasmania. It's like Tasmania beating England. That's what it's like. That's the underdog story.
I hear there's a magnificent, of course, the British press have a field day with it. I think the Daily Mail, they might have gone with the heading. Yeah. God help us.
Hey, the other part, and this is the reason I brought it up, so we can get a plug in for our man AC.
Yeah.
The Italians are through to the quarters.
They're through?
Yeah, they beat Spain.
Oh, he'd be very happy.
Imagine AC.
Because he'd have plenty of time to be up through the night. Is it actually on TV?
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be up all night.
What's that Italian wine that they drink? The
grappa.
He would have had a big night on the grappa.
He's got the new baby, so he'd be up all night, nursing the baby and watching. He's planned this to perfection, hasn't he? He has planned it brilliantly.
He hasn't slept for a while, old AC, has he?
No, he's just got one eye on the on the cup there.
So, we loved a bit of that in the Euro. The other thing I just want to bring up quickly, I want to give a cheerio out to one of our listeners, Clive Broman, who sent us a great letter during the week to all of us boys, and he pumped me up and said he was really happy that I participated in the big freeze. because his wife, unfortunately, Clive's wife, passed away a few years ago from motor neuron disease, Cheryl. And she actually wrote a book on her journey through MND, and he sent me a copy. So thanks heaps, Clive. We really appreciate that, mate. And he sent you a joke in, which you might do another day. Tony.
Yeah, okay. I need to just ratify if it's humorous.
I like it. Yeah.
Oh, well, if you like it, you've got some sense of humour.
Yeah, I have.
All right.
Actually, I caught up with the Irish boys. Speaking of Euro, yesterday.
Did you really?
They went out of Euro on Friday night, didn't they?
Well, they have a wake, did they?
No. So I went to my local yesterday, my day off on Monday. It's my weekend, and had a few pints, and all the Irish boys in there, they were sideways. They were absolutely sideways. And I said to one of them, obviously it's a bit of a wake, boys.
Yeah,
The boy went out of Euro on Friday night. And he turned to me, he said, no, just a normal weekend. Just a 3-day bend as a normal weekend.
You sure they were Irish, not Scottish? That was a Scottish
accent.
I don't know.
No, they're definitely Irish.
Now, we need to mention that our skipper...
Oh, you actually looked at it.
I had.
Look at that.
The skipper and his good lady wife have had another baby. Brooke,
congratulations.
Brooke. I think
Mackenzie
Fox.
Yeah,
yes. And they've got Harper Fox. So well done to them. That's tremendous news.
It is. We need a few. We've got the father-daughters.
Well, father-daughter, exactly, in a few years' time.
We need some father-sons.
Well, mate, don't you start talking. We are looking straight at you. Will you? I won't say.
What?
Well, no.
Well,
just
I know
get
what you're
cracking,
saying.
so to speak.
I had a skittle bomb too at the pub yesterday.
How old are you?
I know. I reckon.
Seriously?
No. Scones has wrapped me up. He's a bit worried about where that's going. It's terrible too, the skittle bomb.
Well, that's not going to help you, is it? In the father and son department. So many skittle bombs.
Oh, no.
You've got to perform, mate.
Oh, no, I'll be
You've
right.
got to rise to the occasion.
Hey, get onto the quiz.
Come on.
Get onto the quiz. Hey, you give us a call, 9426 4423, or get into hashtag Talking Tigers. Tone, focus on the quiz.
I haven't got actually in front of me. I've got to make it off the top of my head. All right. So we played Brisbane, of course, last Saturday. Brisbane wore the Fitzroy jumpers, which looked really good.
Because they had the Fitzroy Hall of Fame.
They did. Yeah. So I want to know, back in 1996, when Fitzroy played their last ever game in Melbourne, round 21, second last game of the year, they played the last one in Freo, didn't they?
Yep.
So we played them in that last ever game in Victoria.
We did.
Okay. We won by a huge margin, 150 plus points. Okay. I want to know how many goals your good self, right, and Brendan Gale kicked between you in that game. How many goals did Matthew Richardson and the Chief, Brendan Gale, kick for the Tigers in that game between them?
Okay, so give us a call for the Talking Tigers T-shirt, the TTT 9426 4423. Fitzroy's last game in Melbourne. How many goals did myself and Benny Gale kick between us? Thanks for bringing that one up, Tone.
No, that's all right.
Give us a call and you can win a
few
TTT.
Points too. You might have kicked more points than goals that night.
Did I?
Oh, no, it was about the same.
Yeah, around the mark.
Hey, we've had a bye week here.
Yeah.
A few tweets have come through.
Hey, we're freshening up because we weren't on last week.
We
weren't on. We weren't on.
140 episodes though.
Yeah, we're only 10 off life membership, you know. Yeah. 10. So will we get life membership before the end of the year?
Oh, I don't
Maybe
know.
a banner.
Oh, we'll make sure we do. Yeah. Oh, we could. Yeah. Okay.
So we got a few tweets.
We got a couple through. So Tone Greenberg yourself at Tigerland Tone. We know it's not you.
You don't need to say it.
Well, I do because people still think it's me. Grigger thinks it's me. And several other players.
Anyway, he's picked up on a story from our good friends at the Herald Sun, Super Footy.
Yeah, Scotty Gullen.
Written by Scotty Gullen.
Gullen, sorry. Gullen. Scotty Gullen.
Saying Brendan Gale has been called Batman down at Tigerland. How did he get that?
Well, you know what?
Come on, Scotty.
I wasn't going to bring this up, but
we thought you should.
Scotty wrote about that. He obviously listened to TT, Scotty Gullen.
Come on, Scotty.
And he didn't give us any sort of credit in his article.
Scotty, if you're listening, mate, it's not too late to give us a mention. There'll be something on today's show that'll be a rib tickler for you, so come on. Give us a good mention.
He listened to Chief Watch, Scotty.
Yeah, come on. Just mention TT, Scotty.
The Tale's just written in asking whether Matt Richo's been all over the ladder predictor so far. Richo, are we into it yet?
He couldn't sleep last year doing it. So have you started it yet?
No, I'm not. I told you I'm not doing it.
At what juncture may you be tempted to?
If we beat Port Friday night, I might have a look at the ladder predictor.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Righto.
I might have a look.
Okay. Might have a look.
Righto.
And Jess Benson down in Hobart's written, or Tassie's written, looking forward to seeing the mullet flowing freely in his old stomping ground this weekend.
Who? Brendan Gale?
This Friday night. Ivan
Ivan.
should Hammer not get up from the knee injury.
Yeah.
So.
Is Hammer going to get up?
Well, we'll come to that a bit later in the injury list.
Of course.
I can't be doing my best stuff.
No. So we've got to get through club news first, too.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
So there's a few tweets come through. I might read another one out later during the club news. But
what about emails?
We did have one email, a couple of emails.
You got mail.
Yeah,
Just
we'll throw to you actually, Richard.
We'll come back to that email, but just quickly, we've got Wayne from Mentone on the line. How are you, Wayne?
Good, yourself?
You're going to answer the quiz, Tone. Shoot away.
Now, Wayne.
Yes.
In that Fitzroy's last ever game in Victoria in 1996, second last round of the season against the Tigers. Big win to the Tigers. How many goals did Matthew Richardson and Brendan Gale kick between them that day?
13 goals, 8.
They did indeed. It was 7 to Richo and 6 to Benny Gale.
Yep.
There you go.
Good work, Wayne.
The big chief would be happy with that. Thanks, Wayne. Are we a chance Friday night against Port?
Oh, yeah, definitely a chance.
Yep.
It's just got to come out and play a bit better than what they did last weekend.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
Yeah, good point.
4 quarters will get us there.
And do you listen to TT most weeks, Wayne?
Yeah, just about every week.
Beautiful,
nice one.
mate. Thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, Wayne.
What do you make of JB's Club News segment?
Be honest.
It's entertaining. The stings are probably the best part.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
I will acknowledge that.
Clearly the best part. Good on you, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
See you, mate. Bye.
Hey, email us, mate, sorry.
I will. Thank you.
TalkingTigers@richmondfc.com.au.
Have a great day, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Good on you, Wayne.
And we did have another tweet through from James Rowell. He's saying he's listening to us from San Francisco.
San Fran.
As we speak.
Yep, on a beautiful 37-degree day.
Oh, how good would that be?
Come on, James. We don't need to hear that.
Gee,
we love you.
It's a good city, San Francisco.
It is great.
Yeah.
Hate Nasbury down
Good
there.
song, too, if you're going to San Francisco.
Yep.
You reckon
That should be off the top of the show one day.
We might do that next week.
You reckon this weekend is pivotal, a win?
It is.
And we might be back in the picture.
It's an early elimination final for both teams this week, I think.
Right.
Now, speaking of our overseas listeners, we did get an email through during the break.
Yep.
Titled "Listening from Sri Lanka."
From Sri Lanka?
Yeah. So another one we can add to our list. This is from
That's-
Glenn C.
That's definitely a first, Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Hi, boys. Just thought I would contribute to the overseas listenership. Haven't been able to watch the Gold Coast game yet due to overseas video restrictions, but glad you can catch up everything Richmond related via the podcast. He's currently on a train meandering through the mountains of Sri Lanka, overlooking kilometres of tea fields.
Yes.
And picturing Richo in the tiger onesie plunging into the ice bath, and he can't contain his laughter about the last week's Chief Watch with what he's titled the Perminator.
The Perminator.
Yeah, the Perminator.
So that's some good stuff from Glenn C.
That's very
via
good.
email. So
Yes.
Talking Tigers at richmondfc.com.au and hashtag Talking
We've
Tigers.
got the world covered. World domination.
That's
if you want to get involved.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to get
The map.
atlas and do it.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As always, the Chiefs had another big week, Tone.
Oh, well, when doesn't he?
He came in here before and
Oh, yeah, he was regaling us with a few
he
good
was
stories.
telling some stories about our old coach, Robert Walls.
He was, yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a good storyteller.
He can
Isn't
remember
he?
them, the Chief.
He
They all
can
revolved
indeed.
around him, of course.
Of course.
Him and Wolsey.
And all we could do was just listen.
Yeah,
Yep.
he actually brought up that 6 goals he kicked in that last game, didn't he?
Of course he did.
Jeez, he rates himself.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
He went through it in fine detail.
So anyway, last Thursday night, myself and Brendan were lucky enough to be invited to an expat Tasmanian function in the city.
Oh, jeez.
They invited, various footballers and people that have done well in business. And,
Yeah. Were there any other celebs there?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, Ricky Ponting was there.
Ricky
Oh,
Ponting,
yeah,
yeah.
The
that's
leading
very
run
good.
scorer in history for Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Anyone else?
He was probably the biggest name there, I
Okay.
would say.
Yeah, have any actors or anything like that, or soapy stars, or
No, a lot of businessmen
Okay,
there, though. A
yeah,
lot of
yeah, fair
footballers.
enough.
Tim Lane was there. Grant
Yep.
Birchall was there. Nick Rewalt turned up with his
Yeah.
old man, Joe.
Oh, good. Yep.
Nick lived in Tassie till he was 11. But anyway,
Yep.
the organiser of the event, James Henderson, who actually is Ricky Ponting's manager, he put it all together, trying to bring Tasmanians together to network in Melbourne.
Yep.
And he got up and had a little talk and about what he wanted to achieve from this group, this networking group of ex-Tasmanians. Anyway, he got to the point where we had a special guest speaker, right?
Yes.
And he built this up. He built it right up. And basically, the whole thing was put together by this person, this powerful individual. And James kept building it up and building it up and building it up. And just as he was about to announce who our special guest speaker was,
had he taken a step forward?
Brendan started walking forward.
Oh, no.
The Chief started walking forward.
Got up off the 15th century yak leather chair which he brought with him.
Which he took in there with him.
Of course, yeah.
And he's standing next to James on the stage. And,
no.
And James is just sort of looking at him weirdly.
Yeah.
And he's sort of shaking his head at Brendan, sort of motioning him to get down. He was actually announcing that the Premier of Tasmania, Will Hodgman, was there.
Oh, no.
So Brendan had to put his tail between his legs and get down.
That's a very
Zoolander moment.
Yeah.
Zoolander.
So the Premier of Tassie flew over for the event, and the Chief got up thinking it was him that was being introduced.
But he would have went filthy, thinking that he would have been superseded by the Premier. He wouldn't cop that.
He thinks that he's bigger than the Premier of Tasmania. The Chief.
Yeah.
And one of our good mates here at Richmond, Benny Jenkin, also texted me a photo on Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to dog Benny in there. Sorry, Benny, I'm just throwing you under a bus.
Yeah. Yes, he could.
Brendan was up in the Morris Rioli room after the win against Brisbane. He was kissing babies up there.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Why?
People were having photos with Brendan and their little child.
No, he wasn't blessing, putting a blessing on them.
He was giving them a blessing.
A blessing?
Little blessing.
Oh, no.
So there you go, the Chief. He thinks he's bigger than the Premier of Tasmania and he's kissing babies.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. He's
Wow. Oh, my phone. It's just... Honestly.
I think Wayne from Mentone has hit the nail on the head.
Just keep it going, Scotters.
Of course, it's the club news.
Wow.
Received a tweet during the break from @Motastic88, Damien, he goes by the name of.
Right.
Just wanted to know what the name of JB's sting is, because he wanted to use it for his gym workout.
For his gym workout. Oh, you get really fit, I reckon, listening to that.
What is it?
It's the ABC News theme by Pendulum.
Pendulum?
So, look it up.
Well, it depends which way you'd swing, I suppose. They might use that. They might use that on election night. You see, with the swinging voters and everything.
Yeah.
So is there
Pendulum, I reckon there's a big chance we'll hear that on the ABC.
So is there any news?
There's a couple of bits.
No.
We're off to Adelaide this week. We're playing Port Adelaide Friday night.
News.
So
that's big news.
There will be an open training session this Thursday afternoon, 4:30 p.m. local time. It won't be at Adelaide Oval, though.
Where is it? Down at Westlakes.
Yeah, remember the old football park from a couple of years back? We're dusting that off. So Football Park, Westlakes,
4 p.m.
South Australia, 4:30 p.m. local time.
Big news.
The Tigerland Superstore will also be at Adelaide Oval this Friday night.
Wow. What's the whole store? The whole store's being shifted over there. Well, how are they doing it there?
There'll be a merchandise stand.
A pop-up.
Yep. Right, yeah.
A marquee.
Hey, I'm just reading. The Tigerland Superstore is heading to Adelaide.
The whole store. Giuseppe must be putting it on the truck.
They'll be located just outside the Eastern Gate from 4:30 p.m.
Yep.
throughout the duration of the game.
Okay.
So look out for that if you are over in Adelaide.
Yep.
And that's the club news for
That's
this.
it. See, I'm afraid
It's
it does not live up to the sting, does it? It's not living up to the magnificent sting, that spine-tingling sting
from Pendulum.
It's not living up to it.
This is important this week, though, the medical room.
Oh, it's always
we need
important.
a sting for this.
Injury list.
Doctor, give me the news.
You would have
How is Hammer?
You would have noticed last week Corey Alice didn't play.
Yes.
He's got a sore groin. Being the youngster that he is, just going to nurse that through over the next couple of weeks. So he'll be missing for at least the next 2 weeks. Okay. Basher Hooley and Todd Alton are getting closer to returns, about a week away for Todd, and Basher 1 to 3 week range. Jake Batchelor was a late withdrawal from the side with a back hamstring issue, and he'll be a fitness test this week.
What was wrong with Griffo?
Griffo had an illness and he's available.
I saw him out there training.
Yeah, he's available this week to go to Port Adelaide.
He might have to do if Hammer doesn't come up, he might have to do a fair bit of ruck work as well.
Ben Lennon is also available this week. He's recovered from his shoulder injury quicker than usual, so he'll have some minutes in the VFL. Marbior Chol injured his ankle in the VFL against Collingwood last week. He faces a test as well, and the big one late in the game against Brisbane was Sean Hampson going down with the knee injury, so it's just a medial irritation that he's had before. So he faces a test this week to face Port Adelaide, so he hasn't been ruled out. But if he doesn't make it up off the 6-day break, then
that's the thing. The 6-day break
that's going to hurt him. But
Ivan
should be
mix
fresh
as well
because Ivan didn't play VFL.
No.
We've got Manfred's just walked in. He'll be up pretty soon, but he'll fill us in on the VFL.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Yeah, I didn't I was a bit annoyed at Damien Barrett from
miffed,
the AFL. Just a bit miffed.
Miffed?
Yeah, a bit miffed. He writes for the AFL website.
Yeah, he does.
He has a little segment on a Friday, Sliding Doors. And I'll read it out to you. I'll just get it up on my phone. I've got a picture of it here.
Just talk amongst yourselves.
Sliding Doors moment,
All right.
This is not great podcasting,
No, it's
is
not.
it?
actually, in the meantime, we got a tweet through from Johnny P. Our man.
Johnny
He wanted to know whether the chief is getting some poles inserted under his chair so people can carry him around like a pharaoh.
That's a fair...
I tell you what, he needs some poles inserted.
That's the most sense Johnny's made for a while. That's a very good point.
We like that,
Anyway,
Johnny.
I'm mad at Damien Barrett because
I can just see that.
Basically, Barrett said, and he's referring to the Triple M ban, he said that he respected that, and he respected it, but he said that he wasn't sure whether Richmond had enough credit to be trailblazing on such social issues. Well, I'm not sure what he's talking about. If he's referring to Dustin Martin and what happened in the pre-season, then
that was all clear.
That doesn't make sense because the Victoria Police and the AFL and Richmond all investigated. There was nothing to answer.
No.
He was guilty until proven innocent there, poor Dusty. So if Damien was referring to that, I don't understand it.
No.
But if he was just saying that because we hadn't won premierships recently and it meant that we couldn't be strong on an issue, then that doesn't make sense either. You don't have to have won a premiership to make a stand in the community.
I'm not sure that we're Damien's favourite club, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
I have a feeling we might be 20th of the 18 teams.
Right, he doesn't like. Okay. Anyway, so I didn't like that really. But that's his choice. Yeah. Anyway,
a bit miffed.
Anyway, we'll move on. It's that time. It's time for Manfred to come in for the VFL report. Yes, what a great song, Warrant and Cherry Pie there, Manfred. What's that?
One of my favourites, Richo.
It's
one
a
of my
great song. Great song. Great film clip too.
It is a great film clip.
Is it? I'm not familiar with it.
Very good. Watch it on.
You'd enjoy it, Tone.
Okay, you'd enjoy it a lot. Manfred, Cherry Pie, obviously. We played the Pies on Sunday.
And at Victoria Park too.
Victoria Park, yeah.
Warrant, something that...
JB, it's a long bow you're drawing, but...
hi to our Collingwood listeners out there.
It's not bad.
You keep bringing a good sting every week, Manfred, but unfortunately the game wasn't as good as your sting.
No, unfortunately it wasn't. It was a 26-point loss to the Pies, and unfortunately we saved our best for last. Now, I put a bit of work into another sting that we didn't play, but saved our best for last. 6 goals 3 to 1 goal 3 in the final term.
Right.
I'm going to stop just doing any research into my sting whatsoever.
All right. We'll come up with your stings.
And we struggled to get any flow in our game for the majority, and it was a very frustrating effort.
Were there any highlights at all?
Yes, there were a few highlights.
Okay. There's always a highlight.
Obviously, the final quarter.
Well, yeah.
Fly gave a pretty good bake at 3/4 time.
I meant individual highlights, but
yes. AFL-wise, sorry.
I did see a bit of the game, but not all of it.
Georgie Castagna had 21 disposals from the midfield, 13 contested possessions, 10 tackles, and 8 clearances. He and Adam Markham were probably our most consistent AFL players on the day. Markham just keeps doing what he's doing, and he's very consistent. Nathan Drummond was good without being fantastic, and also Liam McBean in the ruck with Big Ivan withdrawing on the eve of the match.
Well, that was a blow for the team.
Yes, it was, and it was evident early that we really struggled in the clearances.
Did that throw our structure all over the ground out, do you think?
Probably forward to centre and threw it out a little bit. Ryan Bathy and McBean had to go in the ruck for extended periods of time, and forward to centre. The forwards really struggled, even though the delivery inside 50 was not great. It was a lot of hack kicks. As I said, there was no flow in our game. So Callum Moore made the most of his chances up forward. And
from what I saw, he did a couple of really nice
yeah,
things.
he's coming along nicely. He's developing, but he's just got to find that consistency in his effort and his work rate.
Speaking of Moore, Andrew Moore was such a good player in the previous game. This week, he had the 23 touches, but was a bit, I guess, a bit predictive of the performance of Richmond as well, in that he finished very strongly.
He had 6 up to half-time, unfortunately, for Andrew, and he got a fair income bake by Fly at half-time, and he really pricked him into action. He had 14 possessions in the final term and 9 contested possessions in that term, which shows what he can do, but again, he has to bring that consistency of effort.
What I love about Castagna is the contested possession.
Yeah,
13 contested possessions.
Fantastic, and 8 clearances. It shows he's really... It's another string to his bow. He's played half back, half forward, and now in the midfield.
It sounds like he can go anywhere then.
Yeah, he can, and I think he provides a lot of grunt and also zip around the stoppages.
You would think that he might get another senior... You'd like to think he'd get another senior opportunity before the year's out. So.
Yeah, I think so. I think he deserves it. He's been pretty consistent throughout the year, and I think at AFL level, he showed he can play. I guess it's finding him a spot, I guess.
So Liam McBean went into the ruck.
Yeah.
How did he perform?
He was pretty good. He had 15 disposals. He kicked a goal. He had 12 hit-outs, but he was really intense. Fly was really happy with his intensity around the contest, which has been a problem for Liam. And he actually had a hand in us winning clearances on the day.
And the Caden player of the day, who have we gone with there?
We've gone with Jacob Ballard this week, and it's really good, I guess, reward for effort for him. He's been pretty consistent since he's come into the side. He had 25 disposals, 2 goals, 8 clearances, 8 tackles, and clearly our most consistent performer on the day.
Would he be a chance to get a rookie spot either here or somewhere?
I was thinking about that earlier today, Tone. I think he can. I think he shows plenty. He's a good size. He's a good runner, and he's a bull. He's an inside bull. So it's either here or at another club at some stage. Yes.
So when you look at the slow start after the game, what did Fly put that down to? Do you think?
I guess it was we had a plan going into the game to. Collingwood are really manic with their pressure, and we had a plan to try and combat that, and we just didn't execute that at all consistently throughout the day. And then in the third term, our body language was not fantastic, and we looked a bit defeated, so that's why Fly really gave him a rev up at three-quarter time. He was really unimpressed with our want and our will and our care for each other in the third quarter.
One other player I just want to ask you about is Dan Butler, who came back from suspension. Did a couple of good things that I saw, but overall, how did you assess his game? I
think last quarter was his best. Played forward for most of the game. He showed what he can do in the last quarter. He kicked a goal. He had some hand in a couple of others, but unfortunately for Dan, he's finding that consistency, which is indicative of the whole side.
Okay, Manfred, so where are we off to this week in the VFL?
We're at Punt Road Oval, Sunday, 2:10 p.m, televised game against Casey.
Another televised game.
Yeah. TV. We'll try and break our duck with the televised games.
What are we, Norton 6?
We're Norton.
From televised games, are we?
It's a good joke there, the Norton joke. Owen's brother, Norton.
So what sting did you bring to the table? Scones, have you got it there? Can you maybe whack it? No, you haven't.
I bought Too Little Too Late by JoJo, one of the great artists of our time. JoJo.
Oh, well, I'm glad. No wonder we went with Cherry Pie.
I do enjoy the Cherry Pie. It's one of my favourite 80s power ballads.
You can't be bringing JoJo to the table, so we'll leave you with a bit of warrant. Thanks, Manfred.
No worries,
See you next week,
Manfred.
See ya.
Now, Tone, if you're still living at home where Mum barracks for Carlton and Dad thinks you're born to mow the lawn...
She wouldn't be my mum if she barracked for Carlton.
I think it's time you found your own place. In fact, you should move out on your own.
It's not a bad idea.
You don't like human beings.
It's not a bad idea at all.
Save $27 a day and you can do it. Our valued sponsor, Caden, can kickstart you into your new apartment with $15,000 towards your deposit.
15,000?
15 large, Tone.
Wow.
This is all up front. They don't load the money into the price and there are terms and conditions, but no catches or hitches. Caden.com.au/kickstart will give you all the ins and outs, Tone.
I need a good kickstart. Now, speaking of my mum and that Caden live read, I just want to send a shout out to my mum and dad who celebrate on Thursday their 60th wedding anniversary.
What's that called?
Diamond wedding anniversary. So to Bib and Ken,
great effort.
Bib and Ken, well done. 60 years. Can you believe it? 60 years of marriage.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Incredible.
What are they going to do? Are you going to go out for dinner or?
No, I'm not going to do anything.
No,
we're going out for dinner. We're going out for dinner, and we'll have a nice little celebration. It'll be good.
And JB, you told us that your grandparents, they were married for 70 years.
Yeah, well, my parents last month celebrated their 40th.
Yeah.
But my dad's parents
70
who
years.
started the Richmond barracking in my family. 70 years.
That's amazing.
70 years, over 70 years.
That's
I reckon.
great.
Well, there's something for mum and dad.
And then
to
on my
strive
mum's
for 70.
side, they're over 60
Yeah.
and still
Yeah, that's
going. So,
extraordinary.
yeah.
Good effort. So well
Terrific.
done, 60
Well done
years
to
to
them.
Greeners' parents. Hey, what we make of the game, guys? The Brisbane game.
Yeah, I suppose it's been pretty well documented. I suppose, for 2.5 quarters were okay. It was slow to start and then got going and, played some reasonable footy at stages and got to that sort of, 9 or 10 goals up at three-quarter time. And I thought, obviously, striving to win, you'd think by 15 goals maybe.
This percentage is the issue, isn't it?
No, it just fell away in the last quarter, unfortunately.
I reckon it was halfway through the third. We had a chance to kick a couple of
Yeah,
goals.
yeah,
And
Just handballs over the
a
top.
little bit of
and I
leery
think,
sort of
I
stuff.
think that
went
was
on.
a bit of a
so.
turning point in the game where it just sort of
Yeah,
didn't capitalise, and then they kicked a couple of goals.
It was a funny feeling at the game as well, like the lead up, because it was so early.
Yeah.
A time slot we haven't really played this year, and our first with the red ball.
That's right.
It was sort of like slow to get into the game, and it started that way with the first couple of goals
and
to
also
Brisbane. But once we settled, I thought
Probably coming off the bye as well, maybe.
Yeah,
to, contribute to a slow start.
Yeah,
but
it can go either way. A bye,
Yeah,
you
it
can come
can.
out on fire, or you can be a bit slow.
you think then we would have been a bit fresher then too to finish strongly, but that's not the case. But
What
it's a
do you-
mindset thing.
What do you
I
think of
suppose.
Broad's first game? We had a
I thought he was-
debutant, so
I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought he did his
and
job.
then when you consider that he got the call 9:30 that morning,
He's having
so
a
he was
coffee
in.
or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, probably. Might have had bacon and eggs or something.
Yeah.
That's what he had for breakfast. But I thought he was good. Offered a bit of run and carry, and combined that with a bit of tight defence. And I thought, all things considered, he certainly didn't look out of place.
We talked about Dusty, but Jack could have kicked 7 or 8, I reckon, on
There's no
Saturday.
doubt. There's no doubt.
He had plenty of shots and marks, didn't he, inside 50?
I was listening to Grigger, who spoke to you on Sean Griggs spoke to you on 3AW on Sunday, and said it shows just that Jack's got the two sides to his game.
versatility.
Yeah, that versatility to play up the ground.
Yeah.
Because he had the most. I think he certainly had the most contested possessions, and I think he had quite a few. There was another good stat that he had.
Marks inside 50.
No, it was
9.
marks inside 50 with 9.
But he put it inside 50.
Yeah, but
as
there was
well.
another
Score
one that he had.
involvements, was
It was score involvements.
Yeah.
He had more score
Yeah.
involvements than anyone on the ground.
Yeah.
That's right. And he could have kicked 7.
Yeah. And we saw last night Jade Gresham was the Rising Star nomination from St Kilda. He's a great kid, good young player, but
Connor was
Connor
good.
Menadue must
he
be
was really
getting close if he can continue putting performances like that
Yeah.
together.
If he has another game like that, he'll get a
Well,
nomination.
it's to his credit because it was his first game back.
Yep.
And he obviously shows that he's a pretty quick learner because he played the first 8 or 9 games, went back for about 2 or 3 games in the VFL, and really had an impact coming back in the side.
He's a nice finisher around goal, isn't he?
Yep.
He's very smart around goal,
yeah.
and he just runs. He's just an elite runner. So, yeah.
Well, give us some votes then, Tone.
Oh, all right, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
why not?
well, there's no brainer. 3 to Dusty.
I'll just leave that on there on the
Yeah,
rundown
just
now.
leave
I'll
it.
just leave
3 to
the
Martin,
3 to
3 to
Martin.
Martin. 2 to Jack for all the reasons that we mentioned, and could have had a massive game if he'd converted another couple of goals. So.
Yeah.
And I go one to Nick Floston. I think just so composed. He's back to that form probably what he displayed in his first year or two.
Yeah.
Just that composure, won plenty of ball, kicked a couple of goals,
Uses it well by foot.
uses it very well.
I think he was
just
100%,
really like the way he goes.
100% nearly by
And
foot.
it's still, hopefully in time we get back into the midfield in a more permanent role, but he's still very valuable, of course, down back.
I'm going to give my votes here.
Yeah.
I could be very, very wrong. I gave 3 votes to Dustin Martin, so I can't be wrong there. 2 I gave to Nick Floston.
Good. That's good.
For the reasons the Greeners spoke about, his high efficiency by foot, kicked a couple of goals and set up a lot of our play
He was
off
very
half-back. 1 vote I gave to Sean Grigg because I thought he was another really consistent performer. And
Gee, Jack.
save for a couple of missed shots of goal, he would have set up a lot of goals as well, which
Couldn't
leaves...
get Jack in.
Couldn't squeeze Jackie.
No.
No,
So
fair enough.
apologies
Fair
to
enough.
Jack, but it's
He'll
a
be-
good choice to have when you have so many
He
players.
has been Mr. Consistent, Sean Grigg.
He has.
He is going to finish
He's top 4.
certainly top 5, if not higher.
Okay, I gave 3 to Martin as well. Continued, we've talked about him off the top. Outstanding year he's having. 2 to Jack. 9 marks inside 50. Should have kicked 7 or 8, Jack. And I gave 1 to Sean Grigg as well. Just Mr. Consistent at the moment. Gets the ball. Good ball use. And he's just having an outstanding year. Sean Grigg, the best year he's had at the club. So the leaderboard, Dusty's 21 votes in front now. 61. Trent is second on 40, then Rance, Rewalt and Sean Grigg, and I reckon that's the top 5 in the
I agree.
BNF at Richmond.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'll tell you another bloke who's in good form. I know it's a bit off track here,
Yeah,
guys.
fine.
is John Patton. He's starting to show why he was the number 1 draft pick, Tone.
Yes, no,
I'm
he's
loving
in
his
good form.
He's
There's
in
no doubt
very
about
good
that.
form.
Yeah. He reads it very well too.
Yeah.
Just plucks them out of the air.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
What are you laughing at, JB?
I don't know. It's green as a segment.
What?
You like
Oh, it is my
bucket.
segment. It is my
But
segment.
you wanted to give him a
Well,
warning. Tell him
you know,
now.
well,
yeah.
we gave the warning. Richard
Well,
copped the
actually,
warning early this year.
Let him do his
go on.
first,
Yeah,
and
do
then
it
you can
first.
give him
Do
a
it
clip.
first. Yeah,
Then you
yeah.
can tip in.
Fair enough.
Well, you have a go at yours. 'cause
Okay,
we need
well-
to discuss yourself.
Well, let's go with this week. This week I've gone for Dylan Grimes. I think his
He's in good
value.
form.
Won't play.
Oh, hang on a second.
Why?
Come on.
He's been
No.
playing very well.
No,
I think
is he?
No, there's a pattern here, if you'll pardon the pun.
We're just a bit worried.
And it's not John.
We're a bit worried who you nominate because
Yep.
There is a pattern, and it's not Johnny.
yeah,
Yeah, so I think Dylan Grimes is
in Randnick,
an
Johnny.
underrated contributor to the team. I think we haven't lost with him finishing a game so far this year. So I reckon if Grimesy can get through the game,
He's in good
it'll
form.
give us a good chance.
So who'd you have last week?
Last week I had another. Did not get to the line.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had Griffo.
Didn't
So
have to play.
Late withdrawal.
I had him as getting a
So
goal in
that's
each quarter. And
That's about 3 that you've nominated that actually haven't.
So what
saluted.
we're saying is this is your last chance because if
Okay.
Grimesy doesn't play this week because of you, that's it.
well,
And we
it's
need him.
the risk
And we
of
need him.
Tuesdays, isn't it?
So
Right.
I had Rancy last week, 12 plus intercept possessions. It didn't quite happen. He had 13 possessions, so
Right.
not 12 of them going to be intercepts. So I had a crack. It didn't come off, but
Yeah.
Rancy still played well.
Of course he did.
Still
Yep.
played well. He's an amazing player. This week I'm going with Ty Vickery. He's had his critics recently outside of the club. I'm talking about people want to have a pot shot at Ty pretty regularly, but I just think that this week he may have a good game. I'm going to say Ty Vickery will kick 3 goals.
Right, okay,
Nice.
fair enough. I had Sam Lord for the 2nd week in a row, so I'm sacking him
hang
there.
on a minute.
Career high goals.
Yeah, give that away.
He played it right.
He
don't
still
get me wrong.
kicked his couple.
Kicked a couple.
Kicked a
He
couple.
kicks multiple goals all the
Every
time, but
week he does.
just hasn't got beyond the 3 yet.
Yeah.
But he will. But
So what are you
I'm not
doing
a-
this week?
I'm going for Lids.
All right.
Now Lids was all right
Yeah.
last Saturday, but I think he'll take his game to the elite level again on Friday night. I'm
So
tipping
what do you-
him to kick 3 goals.
Yep.
Right, minimum 3 goals and 20 disposals
Right.
plus.
That's
And he will be one of the most
Well, if he-
influential players on the
if
ground.
he does that, he'll just about be best on ground.
Yes.
Won't he?
Yep, agreed.
Okay, good work. Yeah, in fact, with John Patton, he's starting to play a bit like Lance Franklin, in my opinion. Yeah.
Do you reckon will he get a game eventually? I mean, they're
Who?
very strong. Well, other clubs might look at him to get
Yeah,
him.
they will.
You reckon?
I reckon other clubs will look at him.
We should look at him.
Yeah.
Get him here.
Mm.
Create havoc here.
Yeah.
Given we've got the general election, which we've had the biggest build-up of course, the election campaign. It's been going for about 6 years, all right? I thought, just done some interesting research here. This is an amazing connection between Australian Prime Ministers. How many Australian Prime Ministers do you think we've had throughout history?
20, isn't it?
Oh,
20.
I'd say it's about 30,
Yeah.
probably. Roughly 25, 30 or
Right,
so.
Yeah.
I'll read out the following
Right.
Prime Ministers of
Yep.
Australia.
Yep.
All right?
I like this. This is a bit different. I like
And
this.
their namesakes who played at Tigerland, surname namesakes. So Malcolm Fraser, of course, Prime Minister 75 to 83.
Yeah.
Mopsy Fraser, the great Mopsy,
Yeah.
very tough player, probably missed about 84 weeks, I think, through suspension.
He used
Played
to-
from 45 to 52.
He used to
Mopsy.
hand a few out, Mopsy, didn't
He
he?
was a tough bugger, Mopsy. Tony Abbott, of course.
Yep.
Okay. There was a Paddy and Abbott and a Les Abbott who played here. Les Abbott 1910 to 11,
Yeah.
Paddy Abbott 1919 to 20.
Yeah.
Harold Holt, of course,
Yeah.
who went missing off Cheviot Beach in
Yeah.
Portsea.
Down in Portsea.
Prime Minister 66 to 67. The Colin Holt played here 58 59. Malcolm Turnbull, of
He would
course.
have played
the
with
current-
my old man then.
He
in
would have.
59.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah,
Yeah.
Colin. Malcolm Turnbull, current Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And, Norman Turnbull, who played here in 1921 23.
Will he win on Saturday, Malcolm?
Oh, we're going to get political now, aren't we?
Oh, I'd like to. Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes
I
or no?
I think he wins.
Yeah. Right.
I think so. Kevin Rudd,
Yeah.
of course, promised 2 stints, 2007 to 10 and 2013. There was a William Billy Rudd who played here in 1917 to 18.
Yeah.
John Howard, of course, Prime Minister for a decade.
Little Johnny.
Little Johnny. Frank Howard, 1943 and 48, played for
Yeah.
the Tigers.
Yeah.
William McMahon, Billy
Yeah.
McMahon, Billy McMahon, 1971 to 72.
Is that how he talked, Billy?
You did that unanimously. 1971 to 72. Jordan, of course, the great Geordie McMahon, who played here in the late 2000s. John McEwen, who replaced Harold Holt as Prime Minister, 67, 68, he served. Yeah. Thomas McEwen played here.
Start whipping through those a bit,
There was and then there was a Frank Ford, and we had 3 forwards played here. Billy Hughes, of course, the great Billy Hughes. We had Cleaver Hughes.
Big steamer,
who was Johnny Patton-like, similar type. Andrew Fisher, of course, great Prime Minister here. We had Reg and Ted Fisher. Joseph Cook, and we had 3 cooks played here. Too many cooks spoil the broth, mind you. Too many cooks, they spoil the broth.
Cooked.
Chris Watson, who was Prime Minister. In 1904, we had 3 Watsons and Edmund Barton. There was a Percy Barton who played here, and of course, not my solicitors, of course, Martin Barton and Fargo. Percy Barton, 1909.
You might be needing to call them soon.
I think so. And George Reid, who was Prime Minister in 1904 and 05, and there was a Reuben Reid who played here in 1924 to 26. So it's quite amazing, the connection there.
Yes, well done.
Staggering.
JB, I reckon you'll agree.
Yeah.
Just before you get into your gags, Tom, just check them with some. At the start of the tidbits there, I actually thought, this sounds pretty good. Like, I reckon it's going to be a good little tidbits.
You were saying they're bad.
Oh, it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be, the tidbits.
You had a good tidbit before, but we probably can't go with that. About your sister.
Gags?
Yeah, no. I should have checked a couple of these. I really should. Anyway, first we were talking about anniversary before, and but the first time I met my wife, right, I knew she was a keeper. Yep. Well, I think it was the big gloves and the cricket whites for a dead giveaway, mind you. Mate of mine reckons his dog can retrieve a stick from about 10 kilometres away.
Rubbish.
Yeah, it sounds a bit far-fetched to me, I must admit. How much room is needed for fungi to grow? Fungi. As mushroom as possible.
Scott's getting involved.
As mushroom as possible.
What else?
Oh, no, I don't think I can go with that. It's a good one. I'll go with that off air, actually. I went to the doc the other day.
Yep.
Mate, you haven't been much this year, the doc?
No, I went, because this is a special issue I had. I said to the doc that I want my spine removed. He said, why? I said, because it's holding me back.
I don't mind that. That's good.
Jeez, my mincies are playing. I can hardly... well, of course, the Olympics have come out. Can we say that? Can we
I think it's
confirm
official now.
that we are doing an OB in Rio for a couple of weeks? We can't wait. We're jumping out of our skin. And I love the Olympics.
We're staying down on Ipanema this year, not Copacabana.
And the guest list is coming together.
Oh, massive.
Yeah, requests.
Fozzie?
You've been putting it together, but
I can't wait.
I think we can confirm that Romario is going to come on the show.
Brilliant. And I love the Olympics. I love almost every event at the Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of archery, though, to be honest.
Why?
Too many drawbacks.
One more. Only one more.
Only one?
I've got to go.
Dimmer's
waiting for
and then you've got to give me a lift home.
Yeah. Well, I've got to do Dimmer's dissection first.
Oh, okay. All right. If the devil ever starts losing his hair, there will be hell to pay.
I think on that note, that'll do us for this week on Talking Tigers. Hey, thanks to everyone who contributes to the show, whether it be on Twitter or sending in an email to JB. Remember, hashtag Talking Tigers. You can email us, talkingtigers@richmondfc.com.au.
Go the Tigers!
Hey, there's Jack Rewalt's just popping into the studio.
Yeah, very understated there, Jack.
He's in good form.
Everyone didn't hear the votes.
Yeah, lucky.
That's why he was coming in.
Everyone travelling to Adelaide on Friday night. Have a great weekend over there. It's a big game. We'll be back again next Tuesday. Thank you.
Superstore.
Yeah, it's